All right, Anna, so we're gonna practice the skill of role playing today. Okay, so I know one of the things that you've been talking to me about is that there are some people at school that you would like to be friends with, that you would like to go up and talk to, and you really want to get to know them. But when you think, oh, let me go over there, you start to feel real nervous and you don't end up doing it. And so, you just feel like you're unsure of what to say. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do some role plays that'll help you to practice some skills to go up and talk to those people, and maybe make some new friends.
And the problem is that I want to go up and talk to them, and I think of what I want to say in my head, but I'm just scared that it's going to come out wrong, so I pull myself away from doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So instead of pulling yourself away, maybe we can try to do something a little bit different. Okay. So we're going to do two different role plays. The first one, you're going to play one of the kids at school, and I'm going to play you. And then we'll switch, and then you can play you, and I'll play one of the people at school.
Okay, good, because I want to be me anyway.
Okay. Do you want to start off playing you, and I'll play the peer at school?
It really doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. So, maybe we're at recess or something. That's usually where you can talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what might you see one of those peers doing?
So let's do one of my old friends.
Okay.
And we can pretend.
What were they doing? Okay. What were they doing?
Okay. So I'm trying to remember, but I can't remember anything.
Okay. So what's something usually that some people might do out at recess?
Sometimes I see kids on the buddy bench and I come over.
Okay, so let's say you're hanging out on the buddy bench, okay? And so I'm you, and I'm like, oh, that person's on the buddy bench. So they're probably waiting for someone to come over and start talking to them and play a game, right? So one of the things I know I like to do at recess is I like to swing on swings, okay? So you're on the buddy bench, okay? And so what might your name be? Do you want to be Samantha, since that's what it says on your shirt, Samantha?
I guess.
Okay. And I'm going to be Anna May. Okay. All right. Hi, Samantha. I see that you're sitting on the buddy bench. Do you mind if I sit down with you?
Sure.
Okay. So how come you're sitting on the buddy bench?
Well, I was playing with a couple of friends and I really liked the game, but they changed the game and they brought in some new people and I wasn't really comfortable.
Okay. So I know one of the things I really like to do at recess is go on the swing. So Samantha, do you want to join me on the swings and we can swing together? Yeah. Yeah, sounds like a fun time, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so see, that was pretty easy, right?
That was.
All right, so why don't you play Anna May and I'm gonna play Samantha, because my shirt also says Samantha.
We're matching.
And so I'm sitting on the buddy bench. So you see Samantha on the buddy bench. What is something you might say to come over and start a conversation with me? You ready?
Hi, Samantha. Why are you on the buddy bench?
Hi, Anna May. I'm on the buddy bench because when I came out to recess, my best buddy isn't here today, and so usually we kind of play together, but since she's not here, I just didn't know if I had anybody to play with at recess, so I sat on the buddy bench.
I can play with you.
Okay, what do you want to play?
What do you usually play with your old buddy?
I like to climb on the jungle gym. I love to climb up there, and we always climb up there together, and we help each other if we need help getting up there.
Well, let's do that.
Is that something you like to do too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's do it, right? Mm-hmm. And so see that those two seemed pretty easy, right? Mm-hmm. What if it doesn't go so well? So what if you come to the buddy bench and Samantha's like, no, I'm just so sad because my friend's not here. I don't know that I really feel like doing anything. What might you say?
I'll say, okay, I'll go back to playing with my friends.
Okay, so you might go back and play with other people?
Yeah.
What's something maybe that you could do to sort of make friends with Samantha?
Well, if you wanted to make friends with her, then I would just say, I'll come back later and see if you want to play then.
Okay, so like I'll check in with you again to see if you want to play?
Yeah. Like tomorrow or later at recess.
Okay, that sounds good. So do you think that some of these things are things you can practice? Like maybe like when you're at home by yourself, you could practice with your dolls, make up things that they say and see how it goes. And then when you're at school, maybe you can approach some new people and make friends with them.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. So that sounds like something that will be good to practice. Do you think you can practice that between now and our next session? Okay, and then maybe we can come up with some new things to practice. All right. Thank you, Anna.
Bye.
Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of what's called the empty chair technique, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so you ready?
Mhm.
All right, so Quinn, I know that you've shared today that you had this friend that you were seeing at extended day, and then all of a sudden she just stopped coming, and you found out that her and her family moved away. And I know that we talked about you were feeling really sad because you missed her and you were disappointed because you didn't get to tell her that you really enjoyed her friendship and you don't really have a way to get in touch with her and that's making you upset.
Yeah, and she even had a plan that we can both wear Rainbow Dash.
Yes, you can match one day. So you made a really good friendship and now you're sad that she's gone.
Yeah, like that day when we were gonna do that, she just disappeared.
Okay, so we're gonna do an activity today. It's called the empty chair. Okay, and right here we have an empty chair. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pretend that Caroline is sitting in this chair. Okay, and so I want you to share with Caroline some of the feelings that you have about missing her and how important she was to you and how much you enjoyed her friendship. So you can tell Caroline whatever it is that you would want to tell her. Okay, so you ready? Okay, so Caroline's right here. So say hi to Caroline.
Hi.
Okay, so what would you say to Caroline? What did her friendship mean to you?
She meant a lot to me.
Well, tell Caroline, tell her.
Her friendship meant a lot to me because now that I extended day at the field, I didn't have any friends. And then when you came, it made me feel like I actually had a friend.
So it felt really good to be around her, right?
And I actually made a friend. I didn't even have a friend at extended day.
So what else do you want to say to Caroline? What else do you want to tell her?
I think that's kind of it.
That's kind of it. Does that feel good that you kind of let Caroline know how you feel?
I think my words will just flow away wherever she is.
Your words will just flow away to where she is. Maybe she'll feel it in her heart, right?
Yeah, maybe she said that she left.
Yeah. Thank you, Quinn.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about gratitude exercises. So Quinn, thank you so much for telling me how you're feeling and what you're experiencing. And I know you said that sometimes you feel like your life's not so great and sometimes you feel like good things aren't happening to you and you're always like, oh, all these bad things happen to me and nothing good ever happens. And that kind of makes you not feel so great, right? It makes you feel kind of sad and lonely. And so we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I'm pretty lonely.
Yeah, ever since Caroline left, right? Yeah. So we're going to talk about gratitude exercises and how we can do gratitude. So do you know what gratitude is? Okay, gratitude is when we're grateful for something, like when we're like, oh, that's a really awesome thing that I have or that happens to me or that's going on in my life.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what are some things that you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for my family.
Your family, okay. What else are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for my dog.
Your dog. Why do you think you're grateful for your family and your dog? What is it that they do for you that makes you feel good?
Like my family takes me to these places like North Carolina, Philadelphia.
So you like that your family takes you on different trips?
Yeah, and in North Carolina we go to the beach house and we're spending time with my family. And my dog makes me really happy because he's so cute.
He's so cute and he gets really excited when he sees you, right? And that makes you feel pretty good.
Yeah, like when someone knocks, he barks like, who's there? Who's there? Who's there?
Mm-hmm. And I know because we talked about the thing that you're sad.
Half hug. I love hugs.
Yeah, he's half hug. So I know the thing that we talked about you being sad about is losing your friend at extended day and you feel a little lonely there. So what are some of the other things that are really good about extended day that make you feel grateful?
That there's I'm not really thinking right now.
Okay.
Maybe because I'm in a new group, maybe hanging out with my new friends, Lily and Rachel, because I moved to a different group.
Okay, so now that you're in a new group, maybe
I
spending
made
some
more friends.
yeah, so spending time with new people, you
I
made
made
some new friends.
Lorenzo, Brooklyn, Lily, and Rachel.
Yeah, so that's something to be grateful for, right? That you met some new people in this new group. That's awesome. So one thing that we can do is every day, either when like we wake up in the morning or maybe when we go to bed at night, we can name some things that we're grateful for that day. Okay. So do you think that maybe this is something that you might want to do? Have like a gratitude time of the day?
I don't know what.
Okay, well, do you want to pick like maybe first thing when you wake up, you can think of 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe before bedtime, you think of 3 things that you're grateful for before you fall asleep.
Okay, maybe I'll do both of that.
Both of them. Okay. So let's practice today. So tonight, lean forward, baby. So tonight when you go to bed, you're gonna think, before I fall asleep, what are 3 things that I was grateful for today?
Actually, when I go to bed, I stay in my bed and wait till I fall asleep.
Okay. So do you think it might be better to do it in the morning when you wake up? Or do you think bedtime may be better?
No, I can do both.
Oh, you can do both though. Okay, perfect. So what might 3 things that you're grateful for today? Like think about all the things you did today, all the things that happened. What are 3 things that you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for. So first, my food.
Yes, we had some yummy food today.
Yeah, I was tossing garlic bread.
Yummy.
Second is for waking up in the morning, having a good morning.
Yeah, you woke up in the morning and you came in and snuggled.
And third is always cuddling my mom and dad today.
Yeah, cuddle time is so awesome. So that's just what you would do. Does that sound like a good goal to have? Awesome.
And I never leave without cuddling.
I'm grateful for cuddle time too.
Yeah, and you're grateful for sleeping.
I am grateful for sleeping. All right, so thank you so much, Quinn. And next week maybe we can talk about how your gratitude exercises are going, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so we're gonna focus on assigning journaling as homework. So, thank you so much for sharing with me, Chad. You shared a lot of information about the anxiety that comes up for you in certain social situations, when you have to either make phone calls or go into stores and, encounter someone you're not familiar with. And
Right.
so can you tell me a little bit about maybe some of the thoughts that go through your head when you know that you're going to be in a situation like that and you start to feel the anxiety rise? What kind of thoughts start
when
to
it
go
starts
through?
to happen?
Yeah.
I feel like my heart beating faster. I feel very uncomfortable. My mind kind of races to a bunch of scenarios like, well, what if I met them before and they know me and I don't know them, or if it's someone that I haven't met and there's just like, do I say hi? Do I not say hi? It's like a really awkward encounter. Like I don't know how to engage in that. So it's really uncomfortable.
Okay, so what do you end up doing when you know you're going to be in a situation like that? Do you?
I mean, if I can, I don't go. I avoid it as much as I can. If I have to go, I don't have a strategy. I just feel this overwhelming sense of anxiety, and I go into the situation. Then, I make it miserable before I even start.
Okay, so when you come out of those situations, what do you usually do then?
So afterwards, if it goes well, I question whether or not it really went well. But a lot of times it's almost like I sabotage and make sure that it doesn't go well because I'm not engaging with someone, and it sort of becomes an uncomfortable experience, not just for me, but for everybody.
Okay. So there's this technique that we can try. It's sort of up to you to engage in it or not. And so, let me know what your comfort level is. So you had mentioned that in some situations well, in really any situation, you try to avoid it. In some situations you can. You
Sure.
kind of talk yourself into not doing it.
Sure.
And so in those situations, ultimately, whatever it is that you need to get done or want to get done doesn't get done. And so other situations where you're sort of forced to do it, you feel anxious the whole time. And then when you come out of it, you sort of think about all of the ways that it didn't go well, and things, were kind of fitting into the narrative that you talked about of like, oh, people are judging me, or they're thinking things or whatever. So one of the things that you can do is journal. Have you ever done any kind of journaling before?
I mean, I had some classes in either high school or college where we were required to journal, so I'm familiar with it. I understand the concept.
Okay. So is this something that you feel like you would be willing to engage in?
I'm willing to give it a try because I recognize that what I'm doing or my lack of strategy isn't helpful, and I need something to try and help. So I'm willing to give it a shot.
Okay. So there's two kinds of journaling that I want to recommend for you for what you sort of described. The first is that when you come out of a situation, you sort of focus on a lot of the negative stuff that happened, or your perception of what happened negative during it. And so one of the things you can do is after situations is to sit down and try to journal some of the things that you felt like maybe weren't quite as bad as you thought. Like, I'm going to go up to this cashier and I'm going to say the wrong thing and they're going to get confused, and, they're not going to know what I'm talking about, and then I'll need to clarify, and, all this anxiety builds. What if that doesn't happen? What if what you said was clear enough that the cashier understood you and you were able to get out of the store without an incident? So kind of writing down some of the things that you felt like went okay, or at least better than expected, better than sort of maybe the catastrophizing in your head made you think would happen. The other kind of journaling is sort of preparatory. So, before you go into situations like this, you can kind of journal some of the thoughts that you're having, and then identify some things that, maybe from the past that did go well, or like how likely is that to happen. And you can kind of journal out some of your thoughts and feelings beforehand to hopefully prepare you to go into the situation. So again, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on those two different kinds of journaling.
Yeah, I think the first one you talked about, the after journaling, that sounds easy because it's reflecting on what happened. The other one sounds a little more challenging, but I understand why it could be helpful. So.
Mm-hmm. So maybe even if you start working on the journaling afterwards, and then maybe down the line, once you get used to doing that, comfortable with it, it becomes a routine or a habit, then maybe we can kind of tackle the other kind of journaling. Take them one thing at a time. Okay. Great. And so do you think that's something that you can get started on this week, that maybe we can talk about how it's going next time we meet?
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to do the silencing your inner critic activity. So thank you so much for sharing with me, Chad. I know that you talked about this opportunity at work, that some of the people are getting together to do a basketball team for the local league, and that you really get excited thinking about it, and you were on board. You were like, yes, let's do this, but you keep hesitating to actually contact the person in charge and find out about the schedule and the games and everything. And so you're kind of feeling stuck because you know it's something you want to do, but you haven't sort of pulled the trigger and started engaging in it. So I'm wondering a little bit about, those moments when you start to feel the excitement come up, and then you go, oh, I'll call later, or I'll talk to them later, or I'll put it off, or oh, I don't know if that's something I want to do. What are some of the thoughts that pop up in your head that turn that excitement into, I'll put it off, or I don't know that that's something I want to do?
Yeah, so I recognize, like, I want to be more physically active and be more physically fit. And for me, I like to engage in sports and team activities and do that sort of thing. It takes your mind off of the actual exercising piece. So you're getting the exercise, and it's not like you're just exercising. And so we have this opportunity where we're starting, there's a basketball tournament, or our company's putting a team together. Like, man, that's really exciting. And then, I played basketball through high school, and like shooting was not my strength. So I keep hearing that in my head. So it's like, well, I'm gonna play on the basketball team, and I'm sure I don't shoot any better now than I did before. So there's that doubt of whether or not it's worth it. So well, why get on the basketball team? Why join the team, and then you can't shoot anyway. So what's the point? That's
So the voice is telling you sort of, what's the point of doing that?
Don't shoot.
So the voice is telling you, what's the point of doing that, because you're not going to do a good job anyway.
Right.
Okay. So if you could kind of come up with a picture in your head of what that inner critic looks like that's saying this to you. It could be something you make up. It could be maybe a character from a movie or a TV show or something like that.
Like my dad.
So what would this look like?
Right. So my dad was never critical like at basketball games during the game. It was always like the ride home afterwards, which was kind of his pattern with all the sports I played. It was that afterwards, the ride home, that rehashing of the game, what didn't go well, that sort of thing. And that's always what stuck. I mean, it's not that my dad always just trashed what I did, but those were the things that stuck out more than the, hey, this was really good. This is what always stuck with me.
Right. And so when we make a statement and we add the but, it almost negates everything we said before the but, and all we hear is that final statement. And so for you, the words that you're hearing from your inner critic kind of take the voice and maybe even the image of your dad saying them to you in your head. So your inner critic, looks and sounds a lot like your dad.
Right.
Okay. And so, I imagine you talked about this as when you were, a bit younger. I imagine that, in those moments when your dad was saying this to you, that it didn't seem like the best idea to argue back with him or tell him that he was stupid or wrong.
No, you just kind of take it.
Right. So, you weren't able to kind of express what you wanted to express. And so those words really got, kind of burned in there, and they're still playing out even years later. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an activity where we silence the inner critic. So, you kind of create this character of who your inner critic is, and then you practice saying the things to your inner critic that, challenge them a bit and tell them, what, like, that doesn't have to be true. That doesn't have to be real. That doesn't have to stop me. And so, if you could kind of take this character outside of your dad. So even though it looks and sounds kind of like your dad, it's not your dad, it's this character, right? What are some of the things that you could or would say to this character that that challenge the words that they're saying to you?
So am I challenging the past, or am I challenging, like, am I is the character sort of approaching things the way he did now, or he did then, or am I dealing with the situation now where I'm saying, well, I don't want to join the team because of my reasons for joining the team are different than what they would have been when I was younger, right?
Yeah, so for the purposes of right now, because this inner critic is stopping you from doing something currently that you want to do, you would want to focus on what you're hearing right now.
Okay.
Versus going into in-depth work of past history. So yeah, so we would focus on the situation right now.
Okay. What do you need me to do?
So what are some of the things that you could say to your inner critic that challenge these things that he's saying to you?
Yeah, so I think one of the things, my reason for doing this is not necessarily the competitive side. I enjoy that, but it's the activities, the physical activity piece. This also isn't, we're not putting together an NBA all-star team here with a bunch of old guys playing basketball. I think we're all competitive, but not, we're not trying out for the Olympics or anything like that. So I mean, I think that's part of it. Doesn't matter that I could shoot in high school and probably still can't. There's more aspects to the game than just shooting. That sort of thing.
Okay. So
that's not what you meant, is it?
No, yes.
Okay.
So do you think it would be helpful to sort of draw out a picture of this character? Do you think that you can kind of visualize the character? How do you feel like you could challenge the character? What's the best way, you think, for you to challenge it?
Maybe I can visualize.
Okay. So would you?
Did you mean physically draw out?
Yeah.
Draw a picture? No, I'm visualize, but I can't draw.
Okay. So what if you're comfortable? Are you comfortable closing your eyes?
Sure.
to kind of imagine it. So what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to picture this inner critic saying these things to you. Okay, so spend just 30 seconds, a minute hearing that voice and seeing that person.
Okay.
All right, now I want you to start talking to the inner critic. I want you to tell the inner critic what it is that you have to say in response to what they're telling you.
So it's like we're having a conversation. It's my rebuttal, so to speak. Yeah, it doesn't really matter if I can shoot it. I can still be a team player. I can still have fun. I can still support my teammates. I can still pass the ball. I can still shoot. I can still play, I can still rebound. I can play defense and do all those other things. Not everybody needs to score 40 points a game. This should be fun. It's a good time for some team bonding and some camaraderie. Hang out with and build some relationships with people from work, and it's some really good exercise. And those things are all really important.
Okay, you ready to open your eyes?
Sure.
All right. So I know in the beginning of our conversation, you said that even though you were interested in joining the team and playing in this league, that the likelihood of you talking to the captain and trying to find out more information was probably at a 2, that, you just really felt like there were some things coming up that were kind of moving you away from that. Thinking about challenging your inner critic and feeling more confident about moving forward, where do you feel like you fall now on a 1 to 5 scale?
I'd say maybe 3.5 to 4.
Okay.
It's still there, not super comfortable, but I feel like it's helpful to kind of verbalize that conversation, or visualize it and verbalize a little bit of that conversation, as to how it may go, or how it would go in my head. And I think for me, it kind of puts it in some perspective that maybe that criticism doesn't matter all that much. Take the old criticism that doesn't necessarily apply to this situation. Yeah, I think that can be helpful.
Okay. So I'm wondering, what's your comfort level with practicing this, right? So you can practice it a few times a day, maybe even once a day would be good, so that you can get to the point where you ultimately end up reaching out and finding out more information.
Seems like a good shower thing.
Okay.
You have that isolated time in the shower to make it productive, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and kind of reinforce it, day to day, so that
Yelling in the shower.
so that you do reach out. And even if you reach out to the coach or the captain and they give you the information, it doesn't mean you have to do it, right? You don't have to feel pressure to do it. It's just getting the information is the first step.
Sure.
And then we can kind of move from there depending on how you're feeling.
Sure.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thanks.